clash head-to-head. Let's take a look at the decks. On the RJF side, we have, by the way, if you didn't know, we're actually playing on Tourmaline Desert for the first two drops. This is a best out of 3 series. If the series comes to a tie, we will be switching over to Canyon Network with a random team rolling for the finish. The high-seeded team gets Team 1, and then the loser gets to pick the side for Drop 2. So RJF sitting in the team 1 slot, 2 Timbers, an Enforcer 4R, Hunchback 2C, that's the ballistic variant, 2 Kodiak 3s, Jenner 2CA, Energy variant, and an Oxide. On the Lord's side, Hunchback 2CA, Energy variant, Timber, Kodiak, Hunchback 2CA, Energy variant, Oxide, Spider 5K, we got that crit-seeking machine gun light mech, and a Grasshopper 5P. Let's get in and take a look. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of DACA here. This is already different than what we've seen on Tourmaline from, like, the Oceanic setups. A lot of ballistics, a lot of hard charges, and DACA. This seems to be a little bit maybe favoring the energy side. Maybe we can see some ER larges. It is on Conquest, though, so it is going to, you know, the cap points matter. You can't just hole up in a corner. You need to be able to control the map and control the field, and that is going to be tough. Looking at RJF side right now, we've got Gauss Large Pulse Laser coming out of one of the Timbers. The other one's Gauss ER PPCs. The Enforcer bringing ER Large Lasers. The Kodiaks Ultra AC-10s, Gauss PPC. They're actually way off in the back here. Ultra AC-2s. That's the EMP special coming out of that Hunchback 2. And then the last 2 remaining mechs are, of course, those light mechs. What do you got over on the Lord side?
Lots of ER PPCs, pretty standard loadouts for most, except for one of the Kodiak 3s, Kaffengast, is running 2 ER PPCs and 4 Clan Ultra AC-2s.
This Enforcer, some bad opening trades here, getting kind of hit hard, except he was trading it right back into that Hunchback, so pretty even on the percentages, but a lot of damage already going downfield from both teams just between these 2 mechs.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that Hunchback might have gotten a little bit more damage than he wanted to.
Let's take a look at the status of his mech. His right arm is a little bit worse for wear, but mostly this is a left-handed mech, so he's kind of having to extend his peaks beyond, I think, where he would be comfortable, exposing a lot more of his mech than need be because it is a left-handed mech. A lot of alpha to alpha trades right now. The Timberwolves stepping up, getting that Gauss LPL downfield. Looking at percentages.
Main body for Lords is sitting way back here. This is unusual, I think, in terms of the strategy. I don't even know how much damage they're going to be able to do, even if they can hit the target from that far away.
Well, to be fair,
I think they were hoping for Russian Clan Jade Falcon to push up.
These 2 mechs left remaining trading here in the Alpha Lance position. They're peaking a lot, and they are getting hurt for it. Now, one thing to note, 2 caps in favor of House of Lords, none in favor of CGF. CGF is going to have to make a move, and they have decided to push that Alpha Lance now.
I think this is what Lords was hoping they would do.
Really, they're kind of forcing it. Russian CGF never opted for the back caps, and so the tickets are going in favor of Lords. At this point, it would be too late for a 2 cap, and I don't think they could snake Theta. And so they're being forced to push up now. Looks like they're going to try and snake Theta quick. Not that it matters all that much, but they have moved up into a more forward position now. Let's see whether or not Russian CGF can either slow it down and start playing that cap game now that they control Theta, or continue the aggression right up into the Lord's line and try and outshoot them. Those are their 2 options, and it's going to be exciting to see which one they pick. I wouldn't blame them if they decide to slow it down right here. Now, this alpha position over here, this is actually the House of Lords alpha position. This isn't a very good place to trade from. This is pretty rough. You're kind of stuck, everybody peeking around the same corner. Nice airstrike right across RJF. Took off, looks like one of his arms, down to 72%. Very, very solid strike there on Volkadav. But I don't really like this peak position. I would say peak less often and go for the 3 cap. That's my personal
I feel like right now Russian Clan Jade Falcon is in a bad position. That's not a good hill to be hiding behind and trying to peek from.
No. And, you know, I feel like Russian CJF just really feels like they want to outshoot Lords right now. And I'm not saying they can't do it, but maybe that's not
Lords
the best option.
is basically holding the power position, though. They're not even
Absolutely.
bothering with cover right now.
And we've got another hard push coming up. They're going up to the next position here, over to this hill that we see usually get used quite a bit from the get-go. But I don't know, a lot of percentages down on Russian CGF now. This is another very aggressive maneuver. I think they just want to get into their LPL range. Good job stepping in front of that airstrike. I think it did pop back and hit that Kodiak, but they actually got a kill. They nailed that Grasshopper 5P.
That is huge.
That is big for them.
And here they come moving up again. Lords needs to focus some of these lead mechs down.
I'm actually surprised that Russian CGF is getting away with this aggression, and we're seeing a hard push back by Lords trying to get into the backfield here, and
they've
they're
got
not getting
a little bit
shots
of a light
downfield.
fight going on here. Their lights are about to be in a world of trouble. Here comes the rest of Russian Clan Jade Falcon, and right in the middle of these lights, a light goes down.
Oh, the Oxide goes down.
Oxide.
You know, Lords is deciding to be, or Russian CGF is deciding to be aggressive, and they're actually pulling it off.
Yeah, they're pulling it off, and Lords is split right now. Their firepower is split.
I'm a little surprised that Lords opted to start retreating so soon. They didn't.
Yeah.
That corner, I guess, is a decent blind spot that you can kind of sneak up on people, but at the same token, I think Lords would have fared a little bit better just killing some of these mechs, getting them off the field.
Yeah.
There's still a Hunchback 2CAA up top, dropping shots down on RJF Volkodev in that timber. He might be able to take him down if he can get a good solid hit, but both
these
teams
mechs are so
hemorrhaging.
damaged right now.
A lot of these are getting down to one touch, and bad overheat by the timber, Nick, but he gets away from his, the Kodiak 3 steps in front of him.
And Kodiak 3 went down now. 4 mechs down for Lords at this point before the first mech goes down for Russian Clan Jade Falcon. Great job spreading damage right now. I don't think Lords has a chance of making this one back.
Wow.
Another down. God, look at the damages.
This is incredibly impressive by Russian CGF to keep all of those mechs alive. I can't believe that they're pulling that off.
Incredible.
This spider alone could probably jump up there and start killing some stuff if he wasn't getting shot in the face by the Oxide. But it looks like this is going to go. The first one's going to go in favor of Russian CJF.
Wow. I'm shocked.
A lot of people would say that this is a Team 2 favored map, too, so they just won it on Team 1. House of Lords is going to be able to pick what side of the map they want next.
But look at the damages of these mechs.
Let's see how fresh
43, 32, 35.
This Hunchback has a little bit of fight left in him, but that Kodiak's going to quickly...
There's too much firepower. Those mechs might be damaged, but they haven't lost their weapons.
He's down to one shot left shoulder, and he'll be done. He did get a kill with that one PPC. He's fighting as hard as he possibly can, but that Kodiak looks like he's one-shot CT on the Kodiak. But he does
down.
go
He goes.
Good effort by Chimperator for the finish. But I am pretty shocked. I mean, I am shocked that Russian CJF spent so much time in the open field and was not punished for it.
Yeah.
And then they were peeking from that position on the left side, which is not a favorable position, but they appeared to be trading well enough to keep Lord's heads down, and then deciding to go in aggressive on it and not getting punished for that either. I mean, I'm very surprised that Lords didn't take out 2 or 3 mechs on that approach, especially
just
after
looking
such
at these
a long
remaining
bleed.
mechs. I mean, there's easily 1 or 2 alphas on any of these mechs would have killed them. I mean, the freshest mech right now for a CJF is an Oxide that's legged and has an open torso.
Oh my god.
Like, this is that was a clinic in damage spreading.
Yeah.
And not only damage spreading on an individual basis, but as a team, right? Rotating your hurt mechs back to the back of the line, moving your fresher mechs that can take a little more damage up. The key to that is by the end of the game, just like we can see here, everyone is within, 10% of each other. That's how you know you did it right. You've got mechs still alive. They're all within 10% health. You don't have someone at 95% and two people at 20. That was a clinic on how to work as a team and to spread damage as a team.
Absolutely.
Very
I
impressive.
100% agree with you. And this was super exciting because it wasn't just a poke fest and it wasn't a straight up brawl. This was just straight up mid-range aggression. And that was extremely exciting to see go down. And RJF pulls that one out. And we're going to be going into drop 2. We just need to figure out which side Lords wants to play on. Let's take a look at the damages quick before we break, though. 503 on that Timberwolf. 627 coming out of Lizzie in that Kodiak through, who lived to the end with a bright red CT. But fantastic damage across the board from the entirety of their team. On the Lord's side, 647 coming out of Chimp Raider in that Hunchback 2CA. He was the one that was up on top of the spire, just shooting non-stop from above, pulling a very impressive amount of damage. 543 coming out of Regulus in the other Hunchback 2C. Those 2Cs did a lot of work. Kodiak still pulling a respectable 411 and 378. But the lights just never really got a lot of play on that one at all. I'd like to actually go back to the replay while you get the teams sorted here. Let's go watch. Let's find some of these key moments here. I've been kicked from lobby. Why'd you kick me from the lobby?
So that I can recreate the lobby with the right teams and the right
That's a good
sides.
way to do it. All right, so taking a look at the replay, let's back it up a little bit here. So the initial trades, we had initial alpha to alpha, and these two lead mechs here not faring so well against the entirety of the CGF side. I think the initial trades coming out of CGF was very good. That Enforcer did get beat up a little bit, but for the most part, they were able to back those guys out. But then they planned this aggression. Now, this entire approach here is out of the visibility of all these guys down below. Those two Hunchbacks are the only ones that can put the damage downfield on this approach. So this approach is working really good. But then as soon as they start peeking this position right here, this isn't a very good position to peek from, especially with this entire group down here able to see anybody who peeks. I was a little worried that they were just going to stagnate here and continue peeking this whole time without focusing on any of the caps, but like I said, they had two choices, go in aggressive or start playing the cap game, and they opted to go in aggressive. They cut across and headed over into this area, which is also obscured from that main body, so there's only a short window where the fire can come in from House of Lords. And then as soon as they broke left across what you would expect to see a Lord's firing line, Lords called the retreat into the backfield. And so CGF kept gaining ground, and not getting punished for it until eventually Lords gets backed up into a corner and they don't have anywhere else to retreat. And the other key to this is it wasn't just a brawl deck chasing you down. They were putting damage downfield against Lords the entire time that they were approaching. They had the LPLs, they had the PPC, they had the Goss. So it was a moving power position, just keeping the hurt so they would both stay generally at that same level of in terms of HP. And then when they got within the optimal range of some of their heavier weapons, Lords quickly started to bleed out and fall. And then not only that, but the desperate attempt by the Lords Lights to fight up on that left side, they got swarmed by CJF Timberwolves and stuff. I mean, there was no contest on that. They were outnumbered right in the middle of the field. The Oxide decided to break towards main body, but that sent him right in front of CJF's main line, and he went down incredibly quick. But good first drop of the European regional finals. Very, very exciting one, and I can't wait to see what drop 2 looks like.
Looks like we got both teams in lobby here just waiting on some last people to ready up, and we will continue on. Round 2. RJF leading 1-0. RJF, I'm gonna use that. That's a lot
RJF
easier to
instead
do
of
than
Russian CJF.
Russian clan Jade Falcon.
RJF it is.
Yeah.
There's that Oxide desperately trying to get past, but there's no way he knew that they were, well, I mean, he kind of get a hint, but I think the lights were just trying to split at that point because Lords did have 2 caps. I don't think caps were ever going to be an issue at this point, though, because they needed to buy themselves at least a couple more minutes. They had a nice firing line here and this last approach, and they started putting the damage out. But
I wonder if they had held that firing line, whether they
that
could
initial
have
one
won that match. Yeah,
the biggest problem with that line is just the amount of rolling hills and stuff in front of you that gave them such a nice approach. I do think that at some point they needed to stop backing up and just start putting focus down, and it probably could have been at least one position forward. Hard to say, though. But that's why those hunchbacks did so much damage, is because they were the only ones who had consistent vision on their opponents the entire match. Everybody else was at some point behind cover or just not being able to get an angle without exposing themselves extremely. But I am just so impressed by RJF's ability to keep their hurt mechs alive.
Yeah,
that is impressive.
Great rotation.
Just the fact that their most fresh mech is a legged Oxide. That's hilarious. That is fantastic. But looks like both teams are about to get readied up, so let's go into the lobby and take a look at their mechs.
You know, I don't think either team made a change.
Let's take a look. So RGF continues to be Team 1. House of Lords is Team 2. I'm not seeing anything at all different here.
No, I'm not.
Let's get in and take a look. Let's do it. Oh, he unreadied.
It was almost. I got to be a little quicker.
You're slow to the
launch
button. They just shot you in the cockpit. There we go. Get it. No! Damn it!
Well, now he looks like he is changing.
That
is a different mech.
He is making a change. Okay. Now is he gonna hit the button? He changed back.
He changed back. Maybe he had a module in that Black Widow.
Perhaps, but usually
can
you
can't
switch
change
modules?
Yeah, you can't change those modules. Now we got the Grasshopper, and now the Timberwolf. A little bit of Christmas spirit in here. Red lights, green lights.
All right, here we
Boom.
go.
All over it.
You got him. You sneaked him. You're slow at the button.
I am. You know, that's why I'm not at this level of play.
All right, here we go. Decent crowd out there today. I love it. Fantastic. We're up to 344 right now.
Oof, man, look at that.
That's a new record for us, that's for sure, as casters. All right, here we go. Let's go in and take a look. RJF bringing a lot of the same stuff here. That left-handed ER large laser enforcer. Did they make any changes on the Lord side?
I think after all was said and done, I think they're the same mechs.
Kodiak 3 with 4 Ultra AC2s and 2 Air PPCs. Did we catch that before?
Yep. Cappy was running that.
He was running that? That is an interesting build. 4 Ultra AC2s and 2 Air PPCs.
Someone doesn't listen to what I say.
I do too.
You know, and I said that at the beginning, and I thought it was an interesting build, and I honestly didn't think to look at how much damage he did at the end of the match, though.
Here we go with alpha to alpha trades. We've got the Timber and the Hunchback right back up in front with the initial trade.
And looks like the rest of the Lords are doing the same strat. Maybe they liked what their strat and just didn't execute it.
Maybe it's hard to say. But these initial trades heading out, and it looks like Lord's doing all right. That Timber did just get pegged down to 90%. Let's take a look if anything critical is hurt there. But now they're starting to pop some shots across at, looks like, a Hunchback way far away over here. Just trying to get some shots downfield whenever possible, keeping that heat cap high. But Kappa in favor of Lords, as it was before. Soon, I'm sure.
That Hunchback is way far away. But you know, those AC2s have a long range on them.
They absolutely do, and we're seeing those AC2s hitting that Timberwolf down to 89% now. That Enforcer, once again, the lowest percentage on RJF at 88%. Did he actually
I feel
switch
like
over?
the trades are going a little bit better right now for Lords than they did last match.
Looks like this Enforcer 4R has actually opted to move towards Epsilon this time, so he's sneaking over for Cap.
Yeah, they're trying to get some more pressure on
He did just take another
those
big
guys.
hit, 83%. That left arm is orange right now, which is where some of those lasers are housed, but it looks like he's going to try and sneak an Epsilon Cap. I wonder if Lords is going to send the PPC mechs up. No, that would expose them. So it's
That would be very dangerous.
A free Epsilon Cap, but they're already behind on caps at this point, and it looks like the Enforcer is not really caring about the caps at all. He's just trying to get new angles on Lords.
And he's got a little ways to go before he finds an angle.
He's gonna get right in on the backside of those PPC
He's gonna get
Lords.
right in the backside, yeah.
As
But
soon
they
as
have
he's over there.
Overwatch. They should know that he's there.
Absolutely.
But shooting them.
Eventually he will be able to sneak into a position where it's going to be 1 versus 2 essentially, and those Lords mechs are going to have to vacate that position, and I feel like they want them to vacate that position because that's when they're going to make their push. In fact, here it is.
Yeah, here they are.
RJF once again pushing up to the opposite Alpha Lance. We got some strikes going down right in the midfield.
This is where Lords needs to focus their fire when they push up too. That's the other thing you can try and counter that great damage spread. Just pick a mech and shoot it.
So they're able to move in relative obscurity, 4 mechs trading back into the 2 PPC mechs up on the spire. Everybody else does not have vision on that approach, but now we're right back into the trading. The main difference here is this Enforcer able to get some very unique angles on those spire mechs. We'll have to see whether or not he can do it safely without losing that arm or that left shoulder, because that is going to put him out of commission. But here's the secondary move by RJF.
I don't think RJF is going to hesitate like they did last match. They're continuing to move up here.
Can you blame them? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
Let's see what Lords does to counter it this time.
This is a very, very impressive maneuver by RJF, and doing it twice in a row, and it seems to be working. They do still have some pretty hurt mechs on the field, but Lords looks like they might set up the firing line this time.
Maybe.
It looks like they want to
need
stay. It looks like they want to stay this time. So this is where Bandit gets to put his money where his mouth is. If Lords decides to stay and fight instead of backing up to that next position, we're going to see whether or not that actually works. But here we go. It's about to get deadly. First 2 timbers coming around the outside, getting a little bit of poke in there, but it looks like Lords is staying. Starting to trade in to RJF.
This Kodiak better be careful he doesn't drop off the backside here. He's going to take himself out of the fight if he backs up too much.
Flemmard, open CT, open right torso, and WOOC takes out Nick Dreezery in the timber. So 1 mech down for RJF. That is big for Lords, but they're about to breach up
the lights
over.
For Russian Clan J Falcon. They are moving up to the corner here trying to get some short-range poke.
Flemmard is just trying to tank as much as he can, but that Gauss could get critted out at any moment. Lizzie has moved up to the front line, and the Oxide is getting in there and starting to put some shots downfield. 1 down from
down
both
goes
sides.
Kodiak.
Lizzie coming right in the middle of the main body, 48%. He's got an Oxide on his rear, and he gets taken out. The other Kodiak is almost out of commission. Volkadav getting right down, trying to jump on WOOC, but very low percentages on both sides. They do get WOOC down in that Kodiak 3. Goodness, 3 down for Lords, 2 down for RJF. This could still go either way. That Spider 5K is going to start shining at this moment, but he gets taken down. Wow, 4 dead on both sides. This is incredibly close. Jenner Oxide up there takes out the other Oxide. 3 left for Lords. They've fallen back into the backfield.
They've got to make their shots here.
Chimperator up top with the PPC is now getting harassed by both of those light mechs. If he gets taken down, that is going to take out their Overwatch. He goes down. 2 mechs remaining for Lords.
Self-destruction, actually.
All 4 mechs are very hurt, though, but the Grasshopper just crossed into open terrain. He's going to be able to be hit by almost every single mech on the RJF side. That Jenner 2CA is stalking him. Why is that Hunchback not firing? Is he out of ammunition? Grasshopper versus Jenner 2CA. This is a big exchange right here. He has a lot of armor left comparatively to the Grasshopper, so he could take that Grasshopper out, and he does. Flemmard still has 1 Gauss rifle, and then it all comes down to Regulus in that Hunchback 2C. Let's see the status of his mech. His right torso is a little bit hurt, and he gets Flemmard, pops him down. 3 mechs remaining. He's being
I would send
stalked
those
by
lights
that
to cap
Jenner.
if I was RJF here.
They're actually sending that Jenner 2C. He's stalking Regulus. It's going to take more than one shot to take him down, though. If Regulus lands a really good PPC shot, that Jenner could fall. He's just ghosting him at this point.
Absolutely.
Caps,
There's no reason to be aggressive here if you're RJF.
What do we have on the field? Looks like this is slowing down a little bit here, so we can actually get down to the nitty gritty. Looks
Two
like
Jenners and a Hunchback left for RJF. I mean, this is purely caps. I don't see a way out of it.
Oxide for caps. 1-shot CT for the Oxide, down to just 2 SRM4s. I don't know if he even has any ammunition left in him. The 3 small pulses left on the other one, and then across the field we've got Grommer, and I'm pretty sure he's out of ammunition.
He is out of ammo. Yep.
Running for Epsilon right now with the 4 Ultra AC2s, but right shoulder is 1 shot. Left shoulder has a lot of life left in it. So Regulus is gonna
have to kill the guys at Sigma.
Absolutely,
that's his option.
He's in pretty good shape as a mech. He's in pretty good shape as a mech right now, but he needs to put some of these mechs down because this could end on caps in favor of RJF. What a firefight.
Again, look at the damage spread.
So he's going to opt for Theta. They're now going to know exactly where he is. That Hunchback 2C is out of ammunition. It is not a problem at Epsilon. He's going to be focusing 100% on capping. 1-shot CT on the Oxide. I don't even know if he has ammunition on those remaining 2 SRM4s. If you could take a look at that, that'd be fantastic. But either way, he
does have ammo.
He's 1-shot CT. Both of those lights can be dangerous, but it's going to take more than 1 shot to take Regulus out. So what's the over/under? I mean, 200 points.
There's no reason for those lights to engage, though. They should. It looks like they're heading to Kappa, and wisely so. That being said, Regulus may have second guessed them. He looks like he's headed that way as well. I think that's the right move. 2 caps to 2 caps. Lord's up 200 tickets right now. Kappa is about to flip, though, from those they've actually doubled back. They're not going to Kappa. I wonder if they got eyes on him.
Maybe.
And here's the Hunchback headed to Theta.
Did the Hunchback see that he was... No, he couldn't have. So good call by those lights to not go to Kappa, or at least they're going to take an
Regulus doesn't know where they are at this point.
He does not. I think he was thinking they were going to go to Kappa to try and flip the point back, but they just juked him. That's a straight-up juke against Regulus.
He's going to see Theta blinking in a second here, but he is headed the wrong direction. Good move by RJF. That was a good maneuver.
Pulling those lights back from Kappa instead of allowing the crash from that Hunchback.
I mean, that was their opportunity, was to have a fight at Kappa. That was Lord's only chance, really.
I saw no visual indicator that would tell me that they should do that, but they pulled it off anyways. Somebody in their comms must have said, no, don't go to Kappa, regroup to the middle or something, because that just saved them potentially this match.
Absolutely.
3 caps to 1 now, 500 tickets for Lords. Regulus is hauling ass, but he's got a long way to go.
A long way to go, and he's guessing at this point.
I think this is going to slip away from Lords.
Yeah, I absolutely think so.
He might be able to get a jump on somebody at Theta. Even if he caps it back, they're still going to essentially, in a minute here, be down 2 caps to 2 caps. He needs to kill both of these guys. He needs to kill both of these mechs, and he needs to recap Theta ASAP. Here comes that Jenner 2CA.
He's got to get on the Jenner 2C.
He just realized he's out of ammunition, so all of his shots are going to be going in out of that Jenner 2CA. Oh, he's getting hurt. Both shoulders are wide open. Those 3 small pulse lasers doing quite a bit of work. He wants the kill shot. And he gets it.
He does get it.
Okay, so he's got to start working on that Hunchback because he's going to interrupt his capping. He's
doing the right thing. Get to Theta.
And then kill it.
And then kill it. Now kill it. He's got to kill him quick. He's twisting away. There's no reason to twist.
He's so healthy, though. He's so healthy. He's trying to ram him. I
like the ramming strat.
Tickets are just hemorrhaging away. He's locking He is locking Regulus out of Theta right now. It is not going to cap over, and this is going to go in favor of CJF. I'm calling it right here for sure. What a good maneuver.
He can't win the cap battle at this point.
And here comes that final mech. He takes him out. So Lords is going to fall with 1 mech remaining after killing all 8 RJF mechs.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow. There's no way he's going to get to the other caps in time. God, I hope I'm not wrong. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong.
Am I
Theta.
seeing Theta being capped in the opposite direction by...
I'm seeing that as well. That's
Is the dead mech capping Theta right now?
That's what it looks like.
Even in death.
Even in death. Well, that's really unfortunate because that shouldn't be happening. But the tickets are going up 3 a pop.
Is it 3? Because it should be 4.
Okay. Yeah, they're going up 3 a pop. Okay,
This
so
is
the
a
tickets are
graphical
not
glitch.
changing.
This is a graphical glitch, thank God.
Yeah.
The tickets are still only going up 3 a pop. Okay, so in that case, it's 3 caps to 2. Less than 100 tickets left for RJF.
It's 3 caps to 1.
Well, 2 if he capped Theta. Did he cap Theta? I guess
no,
the question
he did not.
is did he cap it or neutralize it?
He neutralized it. And Epsilon is a full cap. It's the closest of the bunch, but it's too...
I just think it's too little too late, unfortunately.
Too little too late. Yep. That move at Kappa won the game for RJF.
Pulling the lights out?
Yeah, pulling the lights out won the game.
Wow, that was exciting. So 2 caps, that's 2 tickets per second. 20 seconds left. This is over in 10 seconds. So well played, RJF, winning it in death.
Wow.
Taking the series 2-0.
That's something else.
Couldn't ask for more exciting action. There it is.
RJF moving on. They will play the victor of match 1 and match 3. Match 1 or match 3, I should say.
All right, take a look at the damage here, because this battle seems like it was an eternity ago, but Regulus pulling almost 1,000 damage and 5 kills. Definitely fighting hard to the bitter end. Well played by Regulus, but just came up a little short. And it really, just that brilliant maneuver by RJF to reroute their lights back to the center of the map was huge. Because he could have gotten into a 1v2 fight and could have potentially won it right there by taking those lights out of the field. But then heads up play by that Hunchback without ammo to go in fresh, essentially, and just hold down Theta as long as possible. This game had to be close in terms of just seconds. And so every second that Hunchback wasted was huge. But fantastic damage across the board by pretty much everybody. Leon in that Spider, low damage, but really the Spider is a crit seeker. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it takes mechs out, landing a kill on that one. But there you have it, the first match of the European Regional Finals. An exciting 2-0 in favor of RJF, but those were close matches. That could have gone either way by far. So we are going to be moving on to the next match. Let me bring up the bracket really quick. As you can see, RJF moving up. They will be playing in that match 5 slot. Lords has dropped down into the elimination bracket and will be playing the loser of match 1 between 9STS and Black Spikes. Whoever wins that match will be moving up to fight Eon Synergy, and then the winner of that will be playing Russian CJF. So that is it for this match. We are going to get ready to get the next team in here, get started. So we're going to head back. Well, I'll leave the bracket up, but we'll play some music, and we will see you guys in a little bit. I actually figure, why not? Let's go back and watch it again. So I'm going to pop back. Let's see if we can find some of those key moments from this last one here that really set the tone for RJF. RJF definitely did pretty much the same thing. One of the differences was sending that enforcer up to the far right side of their position there. But just watching the trades here, those two PPC mechs right up in front firing Alpha Alpha. Now this is essentially 1 versus 3 on the trades right now. Most of it going into that opposite enforcer. Playing tight enough that they're isolating, but then they got that MWOWC 2 Hunchback way far away. Not sure if he was necessarily doing any meaningful damage, but at least distracted him for a period of time. So a lot of this initial just coming out of those two mechs for Lords. They're setting up the other two up on the Spire in the backfield so they can start trading relatively soon here. And a lot of it probably into that Enforcer who is now back in this region right here. But lots of crossfire. I mean, just looking at the map here, how spread out both teams are across the board. Well, I guess to be fair, Lords is pretty concentrated. They've got the front group and the back group, but then they've got two cappers going out to control those caps, which really ultimately made it a hell of a lot closer than it looked, at least on the scoreboard halfway through. Those caps is what gave them an opportunity to potentially steal this one away. So maneuvers, you know, RJF not really caring about caps. They're moving that enforcer around the right side to try and get an angle at those two PPC mechs. It seemed like they could have given the enforcer the opportunity to trade against those mechs, but as soon as he got up in that position, it's like he went all that way just for this rush to happen anyways, which was a little bit funny. I don't know if maybe they just didn't want that enforcer to bother trading, or something else happened that kind of shocked them into, okay, it's time to go now. It obviously worked. I'm not criticizing it or anything. It's just funny seeing this poor enforcer moving that entire distance. Perhaps they just knew that at that point those two PPC mechs up front, the Hunchback and the Timberwolf, no longer started peeking, so that's the opportunity to go. They're not getting shot in the face anymore. I don't think their goal was to ever necessarily gank those two mechs up front like that. They just wanted them to flush them out so they could move up another step. Their goal isn't to end up in this spot. Their goal is to end up all the way back here, basically. And that's what they ultimately did. So Lords, I think, fared a lot better by holding their ground this time instead of falling back like they did in the first drop. So I'm going to count that as validation. Just throwing that out there, that I feel like I was kind of correct. However, RJF able to get that close through these short hops. And, you know, they're not brawl mechs. They're not sprinting across the field with SRM mechs and stuff, you know. They're able to keep heads down. And the fact that the only heads that they had to suppress through that entire run are those two guys up on top of the Spire. Maybe I just don't really like Lord's position at all. Like, the fact that they put so much stock into essentially 4 mechs, the 2 up front, and then ultimately when they drop back, the 2 up on the Spire. Everybody else is just kind of sitting there waiting for this to happen, you know? And most of them are pretty damn fresh, too. But this time, standing their ground, here comes the initial push. The Timbers, taking a glance, realizing, oh shit, they're still there. Backing up, waiting for the Kodiaks to get up front. That back Kodiak getting slammed by this initial hit. I think it's because he was still higher than the other mechs, so he was easier to silhouette. But that Timber, I think, shut down in the backfield there, got completely pelted. I think that might have been a shutdown, but either way, it cost him. There is this little lip here, so they can't really see each other perfectly yet. And Lizzie starts to peek up and over. They're still getting pelted from the top by the Hunchback, but at some point they get their lights to go up there and flush them out. But this charge is huge. Those Gauss rifles are easy to pop, and it's pretty easy to take those mechs out once you get their side torsos open. But Lizzie with that not desperate, but that strong charge up the front seemed almost like that mech was left alone. Wook Tech actually self-destructed, and that could have been big because he looked like he was about to take that Timberwolf out. But just a lot of back and forth, just a huge scrum here at close range. General Oxide, General Anansi popping dog meat, getting him off the field, and then both of those lights freed up to go harass Chimperator, and taking that Overwatch out here was big. Self-destruction! I didn't even see that. It was a suicide. He was running override. I swear, I thought he would have been able to make it out of that jump, but popped mid-air. Just some nasty suicides going on for Lords here. I mean, if you even hit 100% for a split second when you're hurt that bad, you're going to pop. And so he must have tried a risky shot, and I bet you the jump jets put him over and popped him. It's the only thing I can think of. Oh, man, but even if that Grasshopper was able to take that light down, anything happening could have pushed this in favor of Lords. Anything. It was that close, that exciting. What a fantastic first series. So then, this is the hard part. So, Lords up. It's 1 ticket to 1 ticket. This opportunity here slipped away from Regulus, I feel. Taking this light out would have been huge. He was at this point attempting to retreat. I don't think he knew the capabilities or the status of those mechs. And then that Jenner 2CA pulling out was important because he's preserving his mech. Regulus has his back against a cap he already owns. They're capping Sigma, and that was big. I think if Regulus would have actually moved forward right into that light, fought him 1 versus 1, took him out, that would have been big. But how could he have known? There's no way he could have known. He's probably talking with his team, trying to get status updates as to what the status of that mech is, and trying to keep away from those small pulse lasers. So that's why he was jumping away from him, trying to get an angle with those PPCs. And that Jenner stayed behind that little clump of rock there and kept himself out of harm's way. So then Sigma falls relatively quickly. Theta is going towards Regulus, but then the out of ammunition Hunchback, which is Nomer, over at Epsilon there, capping that in favor. Just really solid play from everybody, I think, except for, of course, the suicides. But, you know, it's hard to tell what's up with those. How are we looking on our upcoming match here?
We have both teams in the lobby, readied up.
All right.
Had a little bit of initial confusion with the seating, but I think we got that sorted out now.
Yes, 9STS, I think, is seated 4th, and BSMC is seated 5th.
Yes.
All right. It's because they were tied, and then 9STS held the tiebreaker, I believe.
Yes, that is correct.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's go take a look at the decks then. We'll cut away from that replay. Figured you guys would